Hello, welcome back to the Fish Looker out on a fantastic downboard. I'm just drifting down over a little bit of reef. Just messing about. I've got some feathers fishing in the background there. There's quite a lot of launch around at the minute, so I want to try and pick up some live baits and maybe drift over a reef with a live launch. I've just had a little scad. If I can get hold of it. Just had a little horse mackerel. These guys are fantastic for live baits because they are tough as hell. They last for ages. So I'm keeping them alive in a bucket. Just fishing a little slow jig down over the reef. We'll see what we can find. We'll keep fishing over the reefs while the tide's quite strong. And as soon as it starts slowing off, I might go and have a couple of drifts in the sand. This was actually a double hit. It was a pollock and a mackerel, but shred the mackerel on the surface. There's a little wee pollock. It's getting a nice knock on one of the down tide rods. What I'm hoping for is a small-eyed ray or a blonde ray. All I've had so far is dogfish. Give that a minute to develop. A couple of really good knocks. If it's a ray, that could be just finding a bait. Give that a chance to develop. When I'm fishing at anchor like this, the tide's running back. There we go. There's a bite. Just as before, dogfish. These really are being a pain today. See there, all I was using was just a section of launch. I feathered them up on the way out here. I was hoping for mackerel, but I'm going to use what you've got. I was fishing an uptider, which means I'm sat at anchor using an uptide rod, which is generally just a longer rod. And you cast up towards the anchor, so you're fishing up tide. And what you wait for there is you leave a belly in the line and you wait for, it's either called a bounce back bite, where the rod arches over and then bounces back and the line goes slack, or it just starts tearing away. And it was just kind of sluggishly bumping, and I thought, there's something up there. So I whammed it in, and this is what's on my bait. A monstrous great spider crab. How ridiculous. Right. my preferred uptide rig is what's called a bulge rig. And what it is really is it's a grip lead inside a piece of about, what's that, 1.5 to 2 feet, and it's just locked in there. And what you do is you'll rig your grip lead set your grip lead up like that, and you'll cast it out. You'll cast it out up towards the anchor, and this will bed in. And what will happen is your lead will bed into the sand, and the tide will pull the line until your bait and your hook are up tight against the lead like that. When a fish picks this up and moves off, the line will slide through this until it hits there, and it acts as like a self-hooking rig, as in like when the fish moves off, it hits there and stops against the grips, and the hook will turn into the fish's mouth. And also, if it's a big enough fish, it will break the lead out and you'll register a bite. So you go. The bolt rig, and I use it for uptiding. Just started getting a bite on the uptiding. Now it just give a couple of little like that, and then the line went slack, and I'd casted it up this way. So hopefully what that means is a fish has picked up the bait and broken out of it. Feels like a pretty good fish, that. Turned round and ran into the tide. Got one on the other rod as well. Not much I can do about it until I can get this fish up. Just sitting very heavy in the tide, which makes me think it's a big blonde ray. Best thing to do in this type of situation is just hold pressure, because with the tide running that way, if you hold pressure on it, eventually it will work its way to the surface. It is a nice ray, but it's a small-eyed ray. What a cracking ray that is. We'll have to sort out that tangle back there, because I think we've got another fish playing with it. What about that? What an absolute beauty. well over £10. I'll get her on the scales in a bit, but look at the size of her. A fantastic ray. Get her in that bucket of water first. Another dogfish. Oh, she's a cracker, that small-eyed. You see that bolt rig, that self-hooking rig, when it had picked up that bait and it pulled up against the lead, pulled the lead out. So the bait started up there and it ended up down there. That's how I knew I had the fish on. Down up there. Let's get that ray unhooked. Hopefully that's bang on low water now. Hopefully the fish are going to start to come in on the flood. What I've done is there's a little bit of a bank behind me, maybe about 50 yards behind me. There's a bit of a bank, and with the tide flowing that way, I'm trying to cast my baits onto the back side of the bank because I thought that's where the fish would be hiding. Anyway, believe it or not, but that was the hook that small-eyed ray was taken on. That's a 3/0 Cox and Roll Specimen Extra. A little 3/0, and on, as you can see, a bit of lawns. Now, as I've shown before sometimes, if you hook them quite deep, what you can do is if you can hold their mouth open with like a float, something like that, you get your finger in there and you can hook the hook out. As in, you put your finger down like that and you turn the hook, turn it out. Just got it recovering in this tub of water here. You can see there, look, where that's where its teeth were. Change that hook length. I love it when a plan comes together. Just getting plagued out by dogfish, and I thought, please don't let that be all the day's going to be. It shows a little bit of perseverance. That's this weighing net that I use for congers. I don't like weighing big rays from their mouth, but this net's worked perfect, and it's between 13.4 and 13.6, so I'll call it 13.5, 13.5 pound. It's a fantastic result. Let's get her out with this net. What a fantastic ray. What an absolute beauty. Oh, them eyes are something else. Let's get a quick photo of her and get her back. I'm going to keep catching fish like that, I'm going to need a bigger bucket. Yeah, that net made it up to where congers in. All you do is you put them inside, draw it up, tie it, there you go. And for things like bullus and that, if you want to revive them, just stick them in a net, lay it over the side and tie it off to one of the cleats. Perfect. Well, there we go. I'm of at moon. What an absolute beauty. Let's get her back in water, eh? There we go. Oh, she looks massive in water, doesn't she? Oh, cracking fish. See where she's all full of eggs, look here. You ready? Look, all I'm using, that is a 4/0 Cox and Roll Specimen Extra. And all I've done is I've just cut a mackerel slither. And I just start on one end. The tail end is full of little sinews, so it's really tough. So if you start at that end and put the hook through 2 or 3 times, and all you do is put it through, turn it over, pull it through, turn it over, until the shank of the hook is full. I then get a little bit of bait elastic a little bit of bait elastic, and just whip the top part to the eye of the hook. You're not coating the whole bait, you're just whipping the top part to the eye. That anchors it to the top. There you go. And now you've got all this flowing about in the tide. I don't know if you saw when that ray took, but it picked the bait up and it ran down tide. And then even when I caught up to it and I'd set the hook into it, it turned round and it ran back. They will use the tide, and a big ray like that, I couldn't do anything with it, couldn't stop it, and if you tried to, it would just snap you off. You've got to, when they're using the tide like that, just hold pressure. If they want to go a little bit, let them go. But definitely don't turn your back on a rod that's got tight drag set. I mean, you can hear I've got those on the ratchet, so if a fish picks up, if I'd had my drag tight, it would have just flipped the rod straight over the side. Let's get this up-tider back out. The reason that I put a rod up tight, not only is it to cover a larger area, but also fish can sometimes be sensitive to noise, like the noise of banging around on a boat. So the area around the boat will generally not have as many fish in as down there. Just wound one of the rods in. Now look, just a simple sliding ledger, and this is what I've found. That is spider crabs. Spider crabs are the only ones that I know that will snip off the snood. Other crabs, velvet swimming crabs, edible crabs, lobsters, they'll nip and you'll feel it and it'll all be rough. Spider crabs. Our wind's picked up again and it's blowing hard now, and it's just too much wind against tide, so we've upped anchor. I'm going to head home and we'll never know, we might have a stop off on the way home. We'll see if we can't find something. They are something else, aren't they? Made a stop on the way home, and we're trying to catch something special. Now the fish that I'm trying to catch, it really is a specialised one. A lot of people don't even know they exist. You only catch them if you're either very lucky or if you know somebody who knows where they are. They live in the mud, they live in the seabed, and they aren't known for being being a great fighting fish either. Yeah. But they look amazing. Now generally what you get is you just get one little knock, and then it just gets heavy. Now not heavy, it just gets heavier. What an amazing day. Who wouldn't want to be out at sea on a day like today? All I'm waiting for, I mean you can probably see the rod tips occasionally sticking in the bottom. Obviously because they live right in the bottom, you've got to be on the bottom to catch them. If I catch one it'll be worth it, I promise. Oh, come on! Check that out. Isn't that the prettiest thing you've ever seen in your life? Isn't that absolutely stunning? Them teeth that it's got, I don't know if you can see them properly, but it's got loads of little tiny teeth, and that fin on the top and the bottom, just incredible. Oh, easy, easy. Oh. They are quite delicate. Look at that. Let's get him in that bucket of water. How beautiful is that? I've still got a little bit of kick left in. I've got one we don't need to catch anymore. I tell you what, I love it when a plan comes together. Let's give her a couple of photos of it, get it back. Well, I call that a fantastic way to end a great day at sea. We'd started off over the reefs, had a few pollock. Most of them were small, had one or two that were 2 or 3 pound. Loads of launce around. Only got one mackerel, which was what I wanted for bait really. Had a few drifts up and down, but the flatfish aren't in yet. The place haven't moved in yet. It's a bit early for them, but it's worth a try. And anchored up, had a fantastic small-eyed ray. That was an absolute brute. And finished it off with a stunner. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful. If you think your friends would like it, please share it on. In the meantime, have a good one.